past couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, it's probably been a month, God has been talking to me, and what he's been saying is very profound, and I'm very grateful for the Lord. I'm so grateful. He has been telling me to walk, not run. So many benefits for walking and not running. One of the main reasons why he's telling me to walk, not run, is because when he walked on the earth, he didn't run anywhere. He wasn't in a hurry. The famous miracle that he performed was resurrecting his friend Lazarus from the dead. They gave him the news telling Jesus that he was sick. He even stayed in the same place for 2 days and still walked to the tomb. Jesus knows the outcome. So he knows the pace that he needs to walk in. He knows the pace that he needs to set things up in order. And when we are walking, we are one saying, Lord, I trust you. When we are walking, we feel more at peace because the energy, the perspective of running is like you're never where you want to be. You feel like you need to be somewhere at all times. You feel like you need to be ahead. You feel like you're missing out. You feel like if I don't do certain things at a certain time, that my opportunity is missed. The Lord provides it all. He provides everything. He also provides the opportunities at the time that he wants to. That's why he says, I make everything beautiful in its time. So the past couple of months, or not couple of months, couple of weeks into like a month, the Lord's been telling me to walk, not run. And he's told me through Pastor Tim at the basement. If you guys want to be mentored in a spiritual, holy, real way, download or subscribe to The Basement by Pastor Tim Ross. And yeah, and I've been really at peace, and peace, he's the Prince of Peace, and he's been able to tell me to walk. And in doing so, I'm almost preparing for the long journey. When you walk, you know that you're going somewhere. It's probably going to be a far distance, but you know you're going to get there eventually. Because when you initially, it's like, hey, I'm going to walk to this place. You know it's going to take a while, but you know you're going to get there. And I'm at peace, which is more than I could ask for. And I'm preparing for this long journey of being a content creator. And me and the Lord are working and trying to give value, trying to give quality, trying to be there for you guys, because I'm here to serve you guys, and I want to do it from the Lord. I want him to instruct me. I want him to say, this is what you should be saying. This is the message that you're supposed to be saying. This is how you do it. And getting into prayer, having that quiet time, walking, you get to hear the Lord more. Instead of when you're running, you kind of think, oh, I think I hear him, but I'm going to keep running because I'm focused on the goal. Well, when you're walking, you're focused on him, and he allows the goal to happen. So today's message, I'm going to title it, Roll Out to the Water. And it's coming from the story of when Peter walked on water. And you're probably are asking why you're saying roll out on the water. He didn't have any roller skates. But this is where I'm going to explain something that was really fun and also profound after the Lord had gave me the message. So a little backstory. Probably like 2 Saturdays ago, me and my girlfriend were helping my mother watch my nieces and my nephew. My brother and his wife went on an anniversary trip. They were like, hey, can you watch the kids? My mom's like, yes, I could watch the kids. I didn't say yes, But the Lord told me, hey, we need to honor our mother, we need to honor our father, and we need to help them. So me always saying yes to the Lord, saying, here I am. I was like, Lord, I will help my mom. So I helped my mom watching my nieces and my nephew. And we were trying to figure out what to do. And my mom's like, hey, I'm planning on going to the skating rink. So I told my girlfriend, who was helping me help my mom watch my nieces and my nephew. I was like, hey, we're going to the skating rink later. She's like, oh, like, I never skated. Like, I haven't skated in like maybe like 10 years. Like, it's been a while. Like, I don't know how to skate. I was like, don't worry. You got me. So we go to the skating rink. We get our skates. And I can already tell how nervous she is. And she also brought her brother, who also is around 10 or 11. And he can't skate as well. I get to see like the nervousness in their eyes, the way they're moving. They're putting their skates on. And I'm just excited because I know how to skate. And as soon as it was time for us to go in the skating rink, instantly, like, they're like, when you don't know how to skate, you try to walk with skates. But when you're skating, you have to skate. You have to roll. And they were making a lot of mistakes because they don't know. And my mission, and I told them, I was like, we're not leaving this skating ring until you guys know how to skate. I was determined. So I was patient with them. And we went to the side of the skating rink. We didn't go to the main floor where you can do skating. I was like, hey, you should push out when you're skating. You need to gain momentum. And I kept on explaining it and showing them my tips and tricks, and they just weren't understanding it. But I didn't give up. So we took a break. We got out of skating ring again. I was like, hey, look at me. Look at my feet. And look how I get off from a standstill position into skating. She's holding on to me the whole time. She's trying to understand. Still not clicking. A couple falls later, and I'm just not giving up. I'm like, how can I teach her how to skate? And we're going around the skating rink. She's still holding my hand. And I was like, oh, I think you're understanding it. And one of her problems was that she'll have momentum, and she'll get kind of scared because she's rolling, and she'll pause. And that was one of the reasons why she was falling. She would pause and not gain the momentum. And I told her, I was like, two things. You need to look up. You keep looking down. When you look down, you're going to fall because you're looking where you're going to go. You need to look up and see where you're going to skate. So that helped her. And to her posture, she needed to have a straight back. And I was like, I think you're able to skate. I'm just going to go right behind you. So she's going, I'm feeling comfortable. She's feeling comfortable. She's going in front of me. And I'm just encouraging her. I'm like, hey, don't forget your left foot. Keep it moving. It's keeping it still. Look forward. Look up. Look where you're going. Keep your back straight. And I'm just like, if you stop, you're going to fall. You have to keep going. If you stop, and she's like, she's hearing me. She's trying to skate. And all this is going at once. But I'm just encouraging her. I'm right behind her. Because if she fell, I was going to be there. And she did fall. And I picked her up. And she's going. And at some point, I'm like, look, you're skating. And after 2 hours and a lot of patience and a lot of instruction and just trying to figure out how to teach her how to skate, she was skating. And the Lord, and mind you, I did the same thing for her brother. And the Lord was like, I went to church the next day because we went on a Saturday. The next day I went on a Sunday, and I'm praising the Lord. And he was like, yesterday was a message. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, in the situation where you were teaching your girlfriend how to skate, you were behind her and you were encouraging her and you were giving her instructions and you were telling her how to skate. That's me with everyone else. I'm right behind you and I'm encouraging you. I'm giving you instruction. I'm telling you where to go. I'm telling you how to move. I'm telling you to move your left foot and keep going. If you don't look at me, you're going to fall. You have to keep your head up. You have to keep the momentum. You got to keep going. You got to keep listening to my voice. So you have to let them know that I'm right behind them. And even if they fall, I'm going to pick them up. And I was like, whoa. It was profound. Profound. Usually, the Lord, these past couple videos, the Lord speaks to me and I feel confident to give you guys the message that He speaks to me. But this time it was different. And He was telling me, when you walk, you get closer and closer with me. When you walk and you don't run, you get to hear my voice a little bit louder. And I could give you those encouraging instructions. I can tell you that you're doing a good job. I can tell you the messages that I want you to preach. I can tell you when to stop. I can tell you that I'm right here to pick you up, that you got this, that you're not going to give up. But the only way is you have to recognize my voice. So this brings me to the story with, this is John 10, 1 through 5 NLT version. I tell you the truth. Anyone who sneaks over the wall of a sheepfold rather than going through the gate must surely be a thief and a robber. But the one who enters through the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep recognize his voice and come to him. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. After he has gathered his own flock, he walks ahead of them, and they follow him because they know his voice. They won't follow a stranger. They will run from him because they don't know his voice. When I was preparing for this message, I was looking for verses and parables to kind of explain how it looks like in the Bible in our lives when Jesus is behind us, encouraging us. The only thing that really stood out to me in this parable that I just read were a couple things. You have to recognize his voice. Just like it says, the sheep recognize his voice. The only way you could go where God wants you to go is by recognizing his voice. I want to hear from the Lord. If I hear from the enemy, I'm going to fall. God's grace, though, he always picks us up. But if I hear the voice, he's going to tell me that I need to lift up my left foot. Or he's going to tell me that I need to go to this job opportunity. He's going to tell me to not take the job opportunity. He's going to tell me to rest today. He's going to tell me to help out my mom. He's going to tell me to go serve. But I have to recognize his voice. And you're probably confused. They're like, I can't hear the Lord. Pray. Say, Lord, it seems like I can't hear you. Can your voice be louder than any other voice that I hear? Recognize that you have power in your tongue. Say, in the name of Jesus, I silence every voice except for the Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. These are some practical things that we can do to hear the voice of the Lord. And when you walk and not run, you can get closer and deeper into relationship with the Lord. And his voice will sound so peaceful. It will sound so... Sometimes we question the Lord because sometimes he's bringing us into an uncomfortable situation. He didn't promise that there won't be any storms, but he did promise that he'll be there with you, because he said he'll never leave you or forsake you. When Jesus is telling us to look up towards him, the enemy can be telling us to look down so we can fall. We have to look where we're going. We have to look up and look at Jesus so we don't fall. Because right when we look down into our doubt, right when we look down into our failures, right when we look down to our past, right when we look down to the mistakes that we've made, we fall. And if you feel like you're falling, say, Lord, I've fallen. I'm not focused on you. But I know you'll never leave me or forsake me. Can you pick me up? I need you. He'll be there. Another indication that you're hearing from the Lord, he wants to help you. He doesn't want to harm you. When you're looking up at the Lord, it's so we don't fall, so we can keep going the momentum. But if the voice is telling you to look down and you fall, you kind of can tell that that's not from the Lord when you feel like you're falling all the time. In the passage, it says, after he has gathered his own flock, he walks ahead of them, and they follow him because they know his voice. Jesus goes ahead. 1, because he knows where to go. And 2, so we can know where to go. He's ahead of us because he knows the paths that we have to take. That's why we look at him. That's why we look up towards Jesus, because he knows where to go. He knows what shortcuts we need to take. He knows what long roads we need to take. He knows what valleys we need to go through. He knows what mountains we need to go over. He knows when to stop and rest because things need to go past us. So if we continue to follow our shepherd, our good shepherd, we will experience heaven on earth. As long as you see Jesus, you can enjoy the ride. Once you don't see him, you start to panic, you start to fall, and you feel lost. His light is so bright. Follow the light. If you feel like you're lost and you're dark and you don't know where to go, cry out, Lord, shine your light so I can see it, so I can follow it. To bring this all full circle, in Matthew 14, verses 26 through 31, this is what it says. When the disciples saw him walking on the water, they were terrified. In their fear, they cried out, "It's a ghost!" But Jesus spoke to them at once. "Don't be afraid," he said. "Take courage. I am here." Then Peter called to him, "Lord, if it is really you, tell me to come to you, walking on the water." "Yes, come," Jesus said. So Peter went over to the side of the boat and walked on the water toward Jesus. But when he saw the strong wind and the waves, he was terrified and began to sink. "Save me, Lord," he shouted. Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed him. "You have so little faith," Jesus said. "Why did you doubt me?" When we're on the skating ring, when we're trying to learn how to skate life and Jesus is behind us, he's saying 3 things. He's saying, don't be afraid. Take courage. I am here. And even when we look down, even when we look at the storm and we fall underneath the water, or we fall in the skating ring, this is what he's going to do. Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed him. Jesus is immediately going to reach out and grab you and pick you up from the floor and pick you up from the water. But he also wants you to know when he does that, do not have little faith. Don't doubt him. He is always there. So believe that you are following the good shepherd, that you are following the light, that your eyes are looking at the right answer. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life of this world. He did not lie. I love you guys. And I want you guys to roll out on the water. And when you roll out on the water, don't be afraid, because that's what Jesus said. Take courage, because that's what Jesus says. And know that you're not going to fall, because he is there. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening to this part till the end of this message. And I'm excited for the next message that the Lord has to say through me. You guys are beautifully and wonderfully made. And you got this. Don't give up. If you feel like you need to learn something, if you feel like life is kick you in the butt, don't give up. Be determined to learn how to skate. Be determined to get out of that obstacle in that mountain. Be determined that you will see the vision come true. I love you guys. Hope you have a great day. And know that the Lord has made it today. So we're going to be glad and rejoice in it.